Hey, Raindrops. On today's episode of Reality Crime Stories, my co host Courtney Parker and I are back to talk about my girl Kim Zolciak and what is happening when it comes to wigs, wallets, and divorce wars. Courtney, that's a good title. I love it, love it, love it.
I'm glad
Um,
you like it, Carlos.
no, it's really good. So let's just get right into it. From wigs and why to warrants and withdrawal slips, Kim Zolciak Biermann's picture perfect life has officially entered war zone. What started off as a fairy tale Bravo romance has become one of the most bitter, broke, and bewildering divorces in reality TV history. I mean, police calls have been made, so has repossessions, bounced checks, and now whispers of a billionaire boyfriend with his own $100 million scandal. This is not just messy, this is a bona fide mess. Okay? So, Raindrops, we're here to talk about what's going on with Kim Zolciak, our favorite Atlanta housewife, and really get down in terms of what's going on with the new boyfriend, in addition to the divorce from her husband, Croy Biermann.
Wow. It's been a minute since we've seen or really heard from Kim. So I'm super surprised to see how active she's been in headlines here as of late. She's pretty much kept a low profile as far as the show is concerned. But in her personal life, things have just been spiraling. The one thing I will say about Kim is she bounces back, and now she's bouncing back with a billionaire.
Yes,
Scary,
forget
yes,
forget
but
bounce checks, honey. She is bouncing back, and that's why we have Judge Tyranny back to talk to us too, as we, you know, ask her all the important questions that you guys want to know. Not me. You guys want to know this. So, welcome, Judge Tyranny. How are you?
Good. How are you guys today?
really good. And we
Yes.
know, listen, before we get into the questions, we know you're going to give your infamous disclaimer. You can't talk about active cases,
I cannot. And
but
the raindrops get so upset with me because they want me to go into the details. But I just have to tell you all that I am here really just to inform you about the law, make sure you have a better understanding, and then you can form your own opinions based on the facts and the information that you know as the raindrops, because we all know that the raindrops know better than most.
And look, you clocked up, and that is true. So listen, let's get into the timeline. And Courtney, I'll have you
yeah,
ask the first question. So raindrops in 2022, reports surfaced of unpaid credit cards and mounting tax debt that allegedly leaped over $1.1 million owed to the IRS. Cameron Croy allegedly refinanced their home twice to cover the expenses. May of 2023, that's when Croy filed for divorce for the first time. Kim counters a week later, claiming that they're working it out. Neighbors report frequent police visits for domestic disputes. August of 2023, Croy files again, but this time he is citing irreconcilable differences and also demanding full custody. He has alleged that Kim has a gambling addiction and that financial recklessness. He also made sure to file in court. Earlier in 2024, the Georgia mansion that we saw on the show entered foreclosure proceedings. Reports claim that, look, that cameras were there filming it. I can tell you they weren't. Okay, so I can confirm that for you all. As of today, so check this out. They're still not divorced.
right.
They're not divorced. And in spring of this year is when Kim was linked to real estate developer Kyle Mowitz, who simultaneously is embroiled in a $100 million divorce battle in Texas where his estranged wife reportedly is accusing him of funneling marital assets towards another woman. That woman is Kim ZOLCIAK, who has denied any involvement. This is messy. And the gag is, I really wish cameras were rolling, because this is the type of mess I want to see on Atlanta Housewives.
Right. Exactly. Because you've listed so much of those things, and one of the things that I found very interesting in Croy's claim was that the excessive spending. And we've all seen from the beginning of Housewives of Atlanta to her own spinoff shows, Kim knows how to shop. Kim knows how to spend, even from her days with Big Papa. The girl knows her labels, and you know, she knows how to shop and spend. My first question for you, based off of all that Carlos has read, Judge, is when a couple files what appears to be some serious yet frivolous legal charges, with so many of them being filings, dismissals, refilings sometimes at this point, how does a court even take something like this seriously?
Well, the first thing I will say is that frivolous will be a determination by the court. So everyone is entitled to file suit if they have felt harmed. And so the court will determine the merits of that lawsuit. And like you say, in any divorce, there are several things that, if it's a contested divorce, things are constantly filed. Unfortunately, in family law, it is very common to see, because it's such a personal nature,
Right.
people take everything about a divorce very personal, that you see a lot of filings more so than you see in probably any other practice of law. So you have to keep that in mind. One, that is anytime you're dealing with family law. And so the judges in those courtrooms are going to keep that in mind. They are used to it. They're going to be able to tell, once they review the evidence, what should move forward and what shouldn't. And because people are at an all-time high of emotions, you very rarely are going to get a judge that is going to call something frivolous unless you have evidence of some kind of misrepresentation or malintent. So that's the first thing I would say. The second thing I would say too in family law is, a lot of times, especially when you have domestic issues involved, you cross from civil law to criminal law. And that becomes an issue, because you could have family law, divorce cases are considered civil law.
Okay.
But if you get the police involved and there has been some accusation of an illegal activity, anything ranging from domestic violence to fraud, now you are entering into the realm of criminal law. And so now you're going to have these things commingling, which would definitely make it a lot more messier and a lot more for the judge to kind of sort through, which leads to what we see in a lot of cases: delays, delay. So people are always like, I filed for divorce 2 years ago, 3 years ago.
Child.
Carlos, have you filed for divorce?
No.
I mean, I felt that in your stomach.
Right.
No,
like in your spirit.
No, it's my PTSD from all of the reality shows I've done and all these episodes where these divorces take so much time. So that's why I'm like, Judge Tyranny ain't lying about that. A lot of people assume, like, okay, if I file at least within a year, this can happen. But in cases like this, where there's accusations of fraud, there's accusations of a gambling addiction, these sort of situations take longer because, like you said, all divorce proceeding starts off as civil, but this is now entering criminal territory, allegedly.
Allegedly.
Possibly.
Yeah.
The other issue is, anytime you're talking about family law, you have to also remember that if a couple reconciles, that voids the divorce proceedings. You have to start all over
All
again.
over.
So
Mm-hmm.
you have basically re-entered the marriage, which would also add time and delay.
Got it. And do courts typically, that was a good point, because one of the key words that you used was their emotions are high. Even in family court, especially if there are children involved, there are assets involved. In these kinds of cases, when you see filings, refilings, dismissals, do the courts allow room for reconciliation? Are they really gearing towards and leaning towards, hey, because there was once upon a time love there, hopefully you can reconcile and put your family back together and your marriage back together?
Well, before you actually complete a divorce, you have to go through a parenting class if you have kids, but you also have to go through mediation, which is a signal
Mhm.
of, one, are you going to be able to reconcile? Do you really need the courts to get involved? Or two, if you don't reconcile, can you all work this out amongst yourself without crowding the docket of the court? The court never wants to be involved in a personal matter. So, of course, they want to give you the option to try and work it out between yourselves. But if for some reason you need a referee, then the court is going to step in with the rules and laws of that state to try and balance it in fairness and equity. But you also have to remember, again, because it's family law and it's so, so emotional, everyone always feels like they were kind of wronged because
Mm-hmm.
no
Mhm.
one is going to get exactly what they want.
Yeah,
It's like, yeah.
yeah, yeah. I do have a question for you because when you are a married couple, this is from what I have been told. I've never been married, but I've been told that when you are a married couple, the reason why they tell people make sure that you two people who are joining forces in matrimony, that your finances are straight, because if one partner is in serious debt, then if you guys are married, that's the spouse incurs some of your debt in case you owe money to the IRS. I'm asking that because when we talk about Kim and Croy, there are reports that there's unpaid credit cards and mounting tax debt that is reaching over $1 million. So with that being said, if let's say, for example, as Croy's alleging, Kim's alleged gambling addiction is putting them in this situation,
Right.
is Croy safe from owing the IRS that money if he can prove that, let's say, Kim is responsible for the mounting debt, or because they're married, her debt is automatically his?
So there's a couple things I
Good
think
question.
about the IRS that people do not realize. One, even as a married couple, you have to decide if you're going to, you check that box, right? Are you filing married or
Right.
single? So you can be married and continue to file single. Or
Wait,
once,
hold up. Hold up, hold up, hold up, hold up, hold up.
yes,
Hold on, child.
yes, you do not, it's an
Mhm.
election. You
Right.
do not have to file married simply because you are married. Once you become married, you have the choice to file married. And if you do file married, you have to continue to file married every year unless up until you divorce. But if you get married and you continue to file separately as individuals, you have a separate tax account.
Okay. So, so
So,
this
so
to
I,
piggyback
again,
on.
without me knowing anyone's personal information, the answer to your question is if you are married, filing married, both
Mhm.
parties will be responsible for the tax debt.
Okay.
If you are married and filing individually, You are only responsible individually for your tax debt.
Did you know that, Courtney?
I knew that you have choices. I did know that because I have a daughter, and we're now at the stage of, does she make enough money to file her own taxes? Is it more beneficial for me to keep her on my taxes until 26? But when I do that, I have to claim head of household. So I did know that you had some choices. What I didn't realize, and this piggybacks off of Carlos's questions. So when it comes to the acquired debt as a couple, not just tax-wise, but just as a debt, if he is claiming financial fraud on Kim's part, alleging financial fraud on Kim's part, is one spouse solely responsible for the others, regardless of their taxes? They have shared assets, and they also share the debt?
So again, we have a thing called premarital property, right? Which is excluded once you get married. There are exclusions.
Explain that to us.
Okay, so if my grandmother left me a house and then I went and got married, that house is mine. It's premarital property. It is separated from my marital property. So even though I went and got married after I owned the house, it still does not become a part of my marital estate. But I get married and my husband and I buy a house that is a part of the marital estate. Mm-hmm. Everything is lovely. If we bought the house for $500,000 and sell it for $1 million, we make $500,000 and we split it. The problem comes, we paid $500,000, it's worth $100,000, and we owe $400,000. We equally and jointly owe that money together. What does that mean? That means that our creditors can come after us individually or jointly together. They don't have to come and get half from me or half from my husband, because we are both responsible for that debt. If I owe $400,000 and he owes $400,000, but I'm the only person with $400,000, the creditor is going to take the entire $400,000 from me. But during my divorce, I am going to say I paid this entire debt, and I should be credited for paying his half in some way. A judge is going to take those things into account and try and balance it out. But as we have taught so much in other episodes, you have to be someone who can collect the money from. You got to be collectible. You can't just owe it. I got to be able to get it from you.
Okay. Collectible. That's our takeaway word, Carlos.
Okay, I mean, baby, that's why they always say it's cheaper to keep her. And it's cheap, or in this case, it's cheaper to keep him. Now,
as I always say, you could never go wrong with a prenup, no matter what the value of your estate is, because a prenup lays out the rules, and it would eliminate delays in court, a lot of legal fees, a lot of high emotions, because we have decided all the rules when we love each other the most.
No, it's me. I'm always fascinated by these conversations because, look, I do know Kim personally, and I was there when she met Croy, and it was honestly love at first sight. It's on camera. We filmed it. I was co-EP of her wedding special, and I was able to see, again, these two people fall in love as a married couple, and the Croy adopting her two daughters at the time, and now together as a married couple, they had a set of twins and I believe another boy or two, if I'm not mistaken. So it's unfortunate that things have come to this, because I did not see this coming, nor did the Bravo fans, because it's what we always hear. when you do get something like a prenuptial agreement, it's not for the person you're in love with, it's for the person you're divorcing. Because those are two, it's not the person you're marrying, it's the person you're divorcing, which are two different people. And that does beg the question that I just don't know, because I'm trying to remember if they did get a prenup. Because when Kim met Croy was
in the NFL.
In the NFL playing for the Atlanta Falcons. And, relatively, he, of course, had money. She was, the star of the Housewives of Atlanta. She was also making money. But in terms of a prenup, based on my memory, and I'm going to research this as we're talking, I don't think they have one.
No.
And again, I am for prenups no matter what your economic status is, because I think that it is just the best way. I mean, we do contracts every single day. You go rent an apartment and you have a contract and you say, hey, I may have to break the lease. This is what happened. Hey, if you damage something in my apartment, this is what happens. It's not necessarily a negative thing, but for some reason, prenup, the word prenup has a negative connotation, and I wish we could change that. Because also, similar to someone you're marrying may have a large amount of debt. That once you get married, you may start paying that debt. It becomes shared debt at this time. How are you compensated for that?
Right.
So it's just a matter of really, let's just get secure and comfortable about talking about our finances and our livelihood of how we would like things to play out.
Right. I want to go back and pivot for just a second because Carlos, you brought up the kids. There were claims that Ariana says that her parents took money from brand deals for her to help cover some of the debt. Kim has admitted that she spent some of that money on bills and promises that she will pay back if she hasn't already paid back. I'm giving her a new set of circumstances. I'm sure she has. Are there any legal takeaways regarding that, or how does everybody feel with respect to that?
Yeah, it's interesting because, listen, I'm one of 10 siblings, and my mother was a true housewife. She gave birth to 10 kids. She raised us until she passed away 5 years ago. But of course, my whole life, my father was the only person working. And when me and my siblings started to work, my father said, okay, it's time for y'all to contribute to some of these bills. And we're like, get out of here, that's my money. But we obviously helped out as much as we could. So that is an interesting question. Legally, can Ariana Bierman, if she wanted to, from what I understand, her and Kim are fine and everything is good. But to Courtney's point, can a child take legal action against a parent by saying, I, as a minor, accumulated this money for a job I did. I gave it to my parent because I'm a minor and they spent it. Can they take legal action to get that money back?
So the short answer is that anyone can take legal action.
Wow. That's true. True.
Again, that is a part of our great American legal system. Whether someone is going to be successful is going to depend on a lot of variables. Again, we don't know. We hear about a lot of child stars and parents who are not just parents, they are also a part of their business. And
Managers.
those parents have to be compensated for their services. And so how that is worked out, again, you have to have some kind of auditing and accounting of the accounts to see, once the reconciliation is done, has the child been given more to the parent than they should have, if they are owed something. And sometimes in some of those reconciliations, the parent is actually owed money as well. So again, anybody can sue for anything in this great American system we have. It is very unfortunate when you have parents and children suing each other or parents mishandling funds. But again, unless there is some kind of action taken, I think that it's very hard for anyone to jump to judgment without knowing all of the facts.
I do want to shift gears a bit because I want to get into the fact that Kim Zolciak has a new boyfriend, which is already starting a lot of controversy. His name is Kyle Morwitz. His estranged wife, Jillian Green, has subpoenaed Kim in this ongoing contentious lawsuit that the wife has against the husband, which is very fascinating. So I want to just recap it again because I'm just like, to leave one crazy situation and to embark on another is just insane in the membrane. But let me just catch you guys up on it. So again, Kim was subpoenaed in a $100 million divorce by her new boyfriend's wife, who is demanding answers over gifts. On September 30th, court documents were filed that showed this, in addition to the fact that Jillian Green, which by the way, Kim was served at a parking lot at a high school in Georgia.
Wow.
Okay, that's how much Jillian ain't playing with the girls. Okay, but the subpoena, Kim turned over all communications with her boyfriend, any communications between Kim and another third party regarding payment for services or communications concerning her estranged husband. Jillian also asked for any documents regarding gifts from him or any business he owns that he has given her. Last but not least, she also requested any and all documents regarding or pertaining to Kim's financial relationship with Kyle, including but not limited to gifts given or received from Kyle, expenses paid on her behalf by Kyle, and again, any business in which he is connected, monies loaned to her, and monies paid to her by Kyle, or any businesses which he is connected when it comes to Kim. Now, look, a lot of people can say, Judge Tierney and Courtney, this is a woman scorn. Okay. But my question to you is this. Yes, you can take legal action against anybody. We know that. But to file a subpoena against a woman that's dating your husband and you're trying to figure out if the money that he accumulated was used to pay, gifts for her or do any businesses. Does that happen often? And if so, does that mean that in case this goes as far in court, that Kim will have to return these gifts back that she was given by this man?
So again, I cannot comment on any open cases.
Got it.
But I will point you all. I don't know if you remember the high profile case where the Lakers owner gave a woman a lot of gifts.
Oh, yes, I watched it on Hulu.
The Clippers. No, it's the Clippers.
I meant the Clippers.
Sterling, right.
Yes. Sterling, yeah.
And she had to return these things because in that arrangement, the wife and husband were business partners. Mm-hmm. It's not just that we are married, we are business partners. And the husband did not have the authority to use the wife's money and business proceeds in that manner.
Got it.
Now, again, you have to look at all of the facts. And again, you said, is this just simply a woman's scorn? When you start looking at high dollar divorces,
Right.
there are a lot more like details that you're going to have to look at the assets, because it may not simply be about an emotional retribution. Again, if you have used marital and or business funds that belong to me as the wife, I have a right to know that, and I have a right to know where my money is invested and what I received for my money.
Got it. For those who don't know, if you will allow me, who Kyle Morwitz is. According to the International Business Times, he is a businessman and investor who holds a real estate and finance degree from Florida State University. He graduated in 2003. He co-founded Imperium Blue Management Group and is a managing partner of Imperium Companies. His family offices reportedly oversee $4.5 billion in assets. His portfolio reportedly includes investments in real estate, e-commerce resistant assets, high barrier businesses. Alongside his brother, they have a Morwitz Family Endowment at FSU. And the thing about it is, like you were saying, just Tyranny, this is a high profile, high asset divorce, $100 million, with lots of companies reported within the Morwitz Imperial Blue Management, Imperium Companies portfolio. So to be able to ask for $100 million means that out of this $4.5 billion managing asset, he has it, she has it, it's all intertwined within a marriage and an arrangement that doesn't feel like it has a prenup.
Right. Or it could have a prenup. And, generally, when you see someone with a prenup and they are asking questions that are inconsistent with not having a prenup, they may be trying to break the prenup for some reason. There may
Got
be
it.
some clause in the prenup that allows them to void the prenup under certain circumstances, which would
Like him.
also answer some of Carlos' questions of why would a woman do this?
Right. And the
No, this
fact that
is
he's still
messy.
married, right? He's still married. She's still married. Gifts were purchased with family money. So yeah, $100
But this
million
thing,
later.
and what's crazy is the way that Jillian, the wife of Kim's new boyfriend, found out about this relationship is she said that Croy reached out to her. She said she was contacted by Croy. She said she met up with him at her cousin's home to talk about Kim's involvement with her ex. She said that Croy told her he was concerned that Kim would financially drain money from Kyle, her new boyfriend. Jillian said Croy showed her receipts of groceries that had been purchased by Kim using Kyle's credit cards.
Oh wow.
Jillian said that Croy told her that Kim was narcissistic and had a gambling problem and was not present for their children. Kim has since denied all allegations brought by Croy. So we're talking about a woman scoring, honey. This is a man scoring,
Man scorn.
allegedly, because baby,
Oh
this
my
divorce is
God.
messy. Because, like you said, they're both couples are still married, going through this divorce, where the finances are at the top of this sort of messy situation. Infidelity is at the head of this situation because Jillian is alleging that Kyle cheated. So This has a lot of, information that is going to come out in the coming weeks. And this is only part one of what will be many parts to the story. So, Judge, you got to come back.
Right, you do. I have one lasting question. You don't have to answer it now, Judge, but could Croy potentially be called as a witness or subpoenaed in their divorce in the Morwitz family divorce court?
Well, in court, there's a thing called hearsay. And so no one can do third party testimony. So if there were actions or events that actually happened that only a certain party can testify, they most certainly can be subpoenaed.
And there you have it. That's another episode of Reality Crime Stories. Judge Tyranny, thank you so much for your expertise. Courtney, thank you so much for your research. And Raindrops will be back because let's be clear, there's more to this story than meets the wig. All right, I will see y'all next one. Bye, Raindrops.